Hello, and welcome to the Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. You can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I am your girl, Lana, your resident evil diva. I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. And I also love my cup mug because why wouldn't I love my cup mug? It's great. And you can get your cup mug at LanaG'sCreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically, so there are no excuses. Australia, the world, I'm looking at you. Get your cup mug, period.
So, in about 20 seconds towards the end of the Lana intro, I realized I hadn't plugged in my mic yet. So, I had to quickly scared to do that. But hi, everybody. It's Brooke, and I'm passionate about pop culture. Apparently, I'm not passionate about planning ahead. And I'm also the CEO of the Parvati Fan Club. As you know, David is our PR manager. Lana is the leader of day-to-day operations, and of course, Jack is the plucky intern. Welcome, Jack, the plucky intern. Um,
I
so,
make fun social media posts.
May or not spoil you on something. That's
Yeah.
the Parvati Fan Club is doing great over here. As we did clarify in the first episode, the Parvati Fan Club is a spin-off of the Suri Fan Club because they're doing so well without us that they can kind of just keep doing what they need to do. Lana is like the founder of the Suri Fan Club, and she has since parted ways from the organization while still supporting it to help form the Parvati Fan Club.
absolutely. I brought in Brooke because I was like, I know someone who can take this and run with it and make it the fan club that it needs to be. And there we go.
Exactly. And we move, and we're thrilled. We're so excited. And here we are,
Mhm.
now the longest amount of days of anyone on Survivor across the world. So there you go.
Absolutely.
They tried to get rid of her so bad. No, it just wasn't
No,
even going to
no,
happen.
no.
No.
Anyway, my name is Jack. I am the resident game designer of the panel, and honestly, I'm just here to watch survivors, like, kind of talk strategy, but then also just kind of, like, collide in with each other and have beef from previous seasons that we just never get resolved.
I mean,
Yay.
we love to see
Uh,
it.
I mean, that's the fun of it, right? This is a really, really weird concept, but it also is working really well, so I cannot complain.
I mean, that's why we're here. And we appreciate you being here to join us as we talk about Survivor Australia versus the World, episode 2. It was a good one. Another good one to be had, and I am still very excited. And we're going to dive right into it. But before we do, we have a few things I need to get off my chest. And that is if you've been here before and you've already subscribed, thank you. We kind of love you here if you've already subscribed. If you have not subscribed and this is your first time here, welcome. Welcome to the podcast. You get confetti for you because you made it. Woo! Welcome to the podcast. Do me a solid and hit that subscribe button before you leave here because we here at the Cup TV are on a mission to get 1,000 new subscribers by the end of the year because a lot of fun things happen once we hit 1,000 subscribers. And so we would love, love, love to do that and get there. So please hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to this channel and subscribe to all of our other channels in the Cup Network. All those links are in the description below in our link tree, so you can click on them. If you're a fan of drag or drag race, we got a channel for you at the Cup Pod. If you are a fan of Eurovision Song Contest, we got a channel for you too at the Cup ESC. And if you are a fan of WWE Wrestling, we got a channel for you at the Cup Ringside. So go check out all of those channels if you are down for any of those, but hit the subscribe button here because you're here already. So you have to be a fan, right? Check it out. We are doing a lot of content on all of these channels, so check it out. Follow us on our audio podcast link. It's in the description below if you need to check us out on the go. And our Patreon is open, exclusive content that will never come out on the channel and early access content that will come out later on, but you'll be the first to see it. So check all of that out and follow us on all of our socials at The Cut Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. Now that I got that out of the way, y'all, we had a time. We
I'm
had
just
a
gonna go ahead
time.
and get this out of the way. This might be my new favorite episode of Survivor. Like, because and like, and not even just from like the ending, but like
Mhm.
it was like I hate it whenever Australian Survivor has this habit of saying the most chaotic tribal council of all time. Like I
Yeah.
remember when Fraser went home on Heroes versus Villains, and it was that whole weird like challenge at tribal council, all the votes moving around of it all. Like I remember when that happened, like the craziest tribal council ever. I'm like, it was weird, but it wasn't like earth shattering. This is the kind of Survivor I live for, right? Where we see all of these moving pieces. It was so great. And I loved the season is eating. It's only 2 episodes in. It's already better than 48. um,
I mean, granted, not a high bar to clear, but
True.
It was good though.
I have received more entertainment in these 2 episodes of Australian Survivor than I have for at least 7 out of 8 seasons of the new era. So here we are.
It's
Shout outs
just,
to
Yeah.
44. Shout outs to 44. Um,
it was definitely good. I definitely enjoyed so much of it. I enjoyed. This is what we expect when you get players who are called legends for a reason. This is what you expect when you get people who have played the game and then you bring them back for either all stars or something like this. You expect the gameplay to be gameplay ish, and you expect to see different twists and turns and strategies flying left and right. Lived for this moment. I lived for all of it happening. I enjoyed watching it. It was just a fun watch. It's one I I'm going to say this. I think this might be a season that I rewatch in the future and be like, "Yep, this was something fun to watch." It's not going to be long. We're only going to have 3 weeks of it, but I like that because then I don't have to rewatch a whole lot of episodes. But in this, I think we're going to have such good Survivor gameplay that it's going to be a very fun rewatch years to later on down the road. So, and I don't really rewatch a lot of Survivors because it's like seen it once, I got it. But this one might be one of them.
yeah,
I'm
I mean,
when I would
just
definitely watch it.
inherently, like, we're already getting, honestly, a lot of reasons for it's like, yeah, this could revive multiple series that have died. Like, we're seeing why Lisa was so incredible. We saw why Rob was just a fun character to have. We're getting insight into survivors that people genuinely haven't seen with Finland and Quebec. And then, I mean, we're getting to see the American Legends play again. If any season is going to be repeated in the future, potentially with another cast, I feel like, especially with the short game, this season could be a 2 or a 3 that just comes up as an interstitial. And I am ready for that.
You know, I
Mhm.
think your boy Jeffrey Probst is kicking himself right now.
Yeah,
Seeing the
Oh,
reaction to it.
yes.
yeah,
Because for the longest time, people have been saying USA versus Australia, USA versus Australia. And the Aussies have been wanting to do it. It's not like it's been a thing of like, oh, well, the USA players would probably, we have a cast for that, but like we don't really have a ton of people from Australia. No, the Aussies want this. They want this bad. And like, I get it from the perspective of CBS of like, we don't own that show. We don't have, the whatevers. But like, it was on, is it not still on Paramount Plus? Some of the older seasons? Or it used to be. I
Some
don't
it
of
know.
it.
used to be.
It
Yeah,
used to
Some of
be.
it used to be, yeah.
Some of it used to be. And like at the same time, it's already super popular over here. The Survivor diehards watch it anyway. So
right.
like, like, can you imagine a season of US Survivor, right? Of like old school ish, so like but pre-new era styled with like 10 incredible players from the US playing against 10 incredible players from Australia. They have the depth to do it. And I think after seeing the response, I mean, and granted, we don't know where Survivor's going to go after 50. All we know is that 50 is, I feel like 50 is kind of them hitting the reset button again. And we don't really know where we're going. I'm hoping US takes a cue from this and maybe does do something like this in the future.
I would love to see that. I would love to see it go across multiple shows. Like I would love to see. We have been asking for Big Brother US versus Canada. We have been asking for all of these shows. I would love to see Big Brother versus. I mean, it's so many Big Brothers across the world. Could you imagine US versus the world and Big Brother, or US versus or whatever? Like
Yeah.
maybe North America versus the world. Like you could have US and Canadian players playing together versus the world. Like it could happen, but I know it's just a lot of logistical reasons, maybe. But I would hope at Survivor after 50 would think about doing something like that here and making it a bigger cast. Like, okay, like you said, 10 people from the US versus 10, but they have the depth. They have the depth with the world players, they have the depth with the US players. It would be fun because, like you say, Survivor players are going to watch it regardless. Survivor fans are going to watch this regardless. So I hope they would take their cue and do it because it would be great.
Yeah.
It would be great. But let's get into this episode because we get back and they go right to the Aussie tribe and not much. I'm very happy this episode we got to see a little bit more of Sarah. I said last episode that we got no Sarah really and hardly any Janine at all. This episode, we got more Sarah. We still need more Janine. I would like to see more Janine. We
Mm-hmm.
saw a little bit more of her this episode, but I would like to see more of her. But Herbie is the star of this episode to me. I'm just gonna stay it. I'm gonna put it out there. Kirby woke up and said, we playing Survivor. I need to play it today. I need to play today. And she did. Like she got up with her mind, like because she already had the secret alliance, whatever, with Shawnee. And so she's like, okay, I'm working with Shawnee. I already got that locked down. Let's see what else I can do. And she just started talking to people and she just started hanging around people and talked to David and was like, yeah, I would like to work with you. I think you're David says he wants to work with Kirby because Kirby, she doesn't have anybody. She doesn't have any particular person she's loyal to. So she wants to talk to Kirby and see. And Kirby's like, yeah, I definitely would love that. I mean, you're the golden god. I mean, why wouldn't I want to work with the golden god? That'd be great. And then she says, okay, that's cool. We here. Like, we here. And then she walks away and she's like, Sarah, let me holler at you for a second. Come here. Sarah, let me holler at you for a second. What would you think? What would you think if we kind of like possibly not saying we should right away. I'm just just trying to feel out some things. If perchance something happens, because this is all before the challenge. We don't know if we winning or losing, but what we need to start thinking about who should go. And maybe if if the time ever permits, would you be down to, like, vote out David?
Just right off the bat,
Eight, no crumbs. Eight, no crumbs.
God,
I love Kirby so goddamn much. Uh, this is exactly the role I predicted she would have in the preseason of like, yeah, Kirby doesn't have anyone, and in her mind, that means I can go with anyone and become a trio or a quad. Like, Kirby's doing it. And for the person who probably has the least amount of Survivor knowledge on that beach, period, it's insane the level of gameplay that she's at.
I was watching this episode because I'll be 100. I forgot why I liked Kirby so much, right? Because I watched season 9. I remember, but like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't remember everything. And coming into this, it was one of those things of like, well, I remember liking Kirby fine, and just like thinking Kirby's really fun and like a good player, but like wasn't really able to think of much more than that of Kirby. This is the kind of gameplay I love seeing people do on a return, right? Because not only is this just really intelligent and really well positioned, especially because Sarah and David, on paper, you should never do this to Sarah. On paper, they've known each other for literally since they were teenagers, right? So, like, you would think this isn't the right move. But she was able to analyze the situation and recognize that out of the people that would theoretically be in this 4-person alliance, that
Mm-hmm.
Sarah is the person who's the least connected to David. She already has this thing going with Shawnee. And if we pull in the person who everybody wants to boot in George, that's the numbers. That's all I got to do is 4 people. And the awareness and the politicking to get that even moving in that direction to begin with was impressive. But then,
Mm-hmm.
not to get too much into the later parts of the episode, but later as she continues the strategy of this, I'm just more and more amazed by Kirby as this episode goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely the highlight player of the week for me, of the day for me.
Oh, yeah.
Because we got another episode tomorrow. But incredible.
Yeah, this was definitely Kirby's MVP moment of the game. She was the MVP of this episode. She moved in such a way that even when you thought like, oh, she gonna get caught up right here, she dipped and dodged her way right on up out of it. Like it never came back to bite her. It never came back to smack her in the face. Like she just kept dipping and dodging and moving. It was absolutely impressive watching her play. And I remember watching Kirby in her season and I was like, this one here is something. Like she never watched Survivor before, never, watched her at all, but she adapted so well to the game that she became this amazing player. Maybe not the great, like over the top personality, but the way she was cool, calm, and collected, and still made the moves that she made is why she was so impressive, and that's why she remains impressive because she has kept that up. Like she moved in the best way possible for me in this episode. It was so good to watch. It was so fun to watch. And she didn't just stop at Sarah. She kind of just was like I said, filling the room without saying, this is what I want. I'm just trying to see. Because then she had a conversation with George, and George was like, no, no. Everybody pretty much, not just George, everybody was kind of like, every time she brings up David, they'd be like, I wouldn't do that right now. It's too soon to make that move. It's too soon. Like we need to take the safer option. The safer option. George said the safer option is Janine. And um Kirby
Interesting.
and Kirby was kind of just like, this is interesting. It seems like everybody's just scared to say David. Like they're so scared that they don't even want to say him right now, which is very interesting. But she kept it cute. She kept it was like, okay, well, all right. We still before the challenge. We don't even know if we're going to even have to talk about that tonight. So let's just. I just wanted to see what everybody was thinking because a threat is a threat, and we need to start looking at the threats instead of looking at the safer options. So I was like, I was feeling her on that. And in that
Oh,
same, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, there is something about this season, and I think it's just one, the caliber of players, and two, everyone knowing that this season is 16 days.
Yep.
We are starting in a place where it feels like we've already had 4 or 5 boots.
Right.
Like, we are starting in game mode from second one, and it is so refreshing to not see an all-star season where it's like, well, there were 4 people who were obviously on the outs. We're going to pick them off really quick and then get into the gameplay. Like, everyone is on.
Mm-hmm.
And
Some people are a bit too on though for me,
Mm-hmm.
because this is something I love about this season. It's something I like about heroes versus villains, and something I really like about Cambodia too. The people that are going home early are either overplaying their hand,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like we saw with Rob in the last
Rob.
episode,
Mm-hmm.
or in this episode, they're playing too passively and they're not
Mm.
pulling the connections in that they need to keep themselves safe, especially when you know you have a target on your back, idiot. I'm calling you an idiot because of what you did to JLP. Sorry about that. Not sorry. But like watching as the strategy has progressed in these 2 episodes, I'm adoring it. Because
oh yeah,
something that David brought up in the last episode, David Healy, panelist, not David on Survivor, is that he doesn't like it when the past games come in
Mm-hmm.
to the newer games. Generally, I'm not a huge fan of that either, but you know, it's a returning season, it's gonna happen.
Right.
But it doesn't have to be your overall written story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're seeing that here. I think on paper, the 4 world players are stupid to not unite and take out a US player. But they didn't, because somebody was being too messy and it got in the way of everything else they were trying to do. And the US players played their hand really well. And I think in this episode, on paper, those 4 people should be together against the 3 who don't have any connections with each other. But because they're not, and because they couldn't keep everything together and make it official, things will happen.
Absolutely.
yeah.
And other things did happen in this episode because we see the king of the jungle is starting to go out and decide to do what the kings do, and that is roam their territory and see what they can see and find what they could find. And the king of the jungle, Luke, stumbled upon an idol that he found. So we have the first idol found in the game, and Luke has it. And I was not surprised to see Luke have it, honestly.
This is basically the one thing I know about Luke is like he'll just randomly stumble onto shit.
Uh,
So this is not surprising. It's just like, okay,
he
this
was
is
the
not relevant.
no, he was the person I said if anybody's gonna find an idol, it's gonna be Luke. That was I said the first person to find an idol on the Aussie team is going to be Luke, and I was right. I think
Yeah.
it is what it is. He has an idol, um, and he's not telling anybody about the idol, which, duh, I find that to
Good.
be. Don't do that, especially with now, because I feel like, well, we'll talk about it. But he finds an idol. Great. We don't see anything from the World's tribe in the beginning, do we? I
We
can't
see this
remember.
little scene of the women go out to go
Oh,
take a bath
yes.
in the beach, and you
Yes.
know, it was just, like they literally went to go take a bath. That
Yeah.
wasn't anything particularly like crazy. But we see the scene of Tommy and Tony, you know, talking, and Tony's like, "Do you think the women are just going to come together and vote out one of the guys if we go to tribal?" And Tommy's like, "I'm not worried about it." And then we cut to Parvati talking to Cass and Sari, being like, I just think we have a really strong group of women over here, and we could definitely pull something together. And then we get to see more clips of the Black Widow Brigade, and I will never turn that opportunity down.
Oh,
Although I would like to go ahead and express my heartfelt condolences to Eric Reichenbach, because I know you are going to be going through it yet again. So
genuinely, who knew that the real victim of that move would be Eric? Because that will, if Parvati's name gets mentioned, that clip will now be brought up in perpetuity of like, yeah, and this really stupid man did something real dumb.
the annoying thing is that we forget that he was on Karamoan and played a phenomenal game on Karamoan. And if he hadn't got medevac, there's a very strong chance he would have won that season of Survivor. But instead, because he got medevac at the final 5, they purpled his ass. And now we have to watch as he continues to be slandered by Survivor fans for the rest of time. Eric, I am so sorry this is going to happen to you again.
Yep. Because
He
He made
if
a
these,
bad move, okay? He made a
he
dumb,
did,
dumb, dumb,
but
dumb move.
it was dumb. It was stupid. And if these women do get together in this season, that is all they're going to be talking about, and that is all people are
Oh,
going to
yes.
remember. And it is what it is. Sorry, Eric. You made the move. It is what it is.
Just imagine something you did almost 20
Mm.
years ago.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even like a bad person thing. It was just an
No.
idiotic decision
I mean, talk
haunting
to
you this hard.
you know who he can talk to? Marcellus from Big Brother season 3.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Or Zach from 27. Either one works there at this point.
Yeah, you make dumb moves. You get this, make this dumb decision. Sometimes the moves follow you for the rest of your life, but
For the rest
it
of them.
for the rest of your life. But yes, we do see that. I'm glad you said that because I kind of forgot about that. And we see them trying to figure out what they want to know what's in this box, but nobody knows what's in this box. Still want to know what's in the box, but they won't find out what's in the box. But the women are like, yeah, and I know I love how Sari is keeping the conversation that she had with Lisa to herself, so nobody knows how big of a fan Lisa is of Sari. And so, just in case something go down and she got to let go of Parvati, she knows that she has a number in Lisa to continue to do. I just love that. Lisa wasn't in on the conversation because she was off doing other things. But if they happen to bring the women together, Lisa would be totally down with that. I know that for sure.
Oh, yeah. I do
But
gotta say, I
mhm,
want to compliment Cerise specifically because, I mean, we slightly see it with Tony and Parvati, but, like, Cerise probably saw the numbers and went, how do I make sure that I have a voice in the majority that won't immediately turn on me?
mhm,
Lisa talked to her and she was like, yep, that's it. Cool. I'm good. Because Lisa will always pitch another name that isn't
right,
me. So
absolutely.
I'm good.
I love it. I love it. We talked about it. Well, we talked about it to an extensive amount of time yesterday's
Yeah.
episode. So if you want to check out our recap about our love fest about Sari, go check out that recap that we did yesterday. But um, yeah. So we go to the challenge because immunity has to happen because really we talked about all the conversations that happened on both tribes. So let's go to the challenge. Um, Team Australia finally sees the person voted out from the last tribe on Team World was Rob, and they were gooped, gagged, and betribbled. They were like, oh my, what happened? And JLP didn't make it no better because he's just as messy as everybody else. He was like, oh, Parvati. Interesting tribal that happened yesterday. She's like, yeah, interesting. And everybody's like, was it a unanimous vote? Was it this? Was it that? And the world was like, it was a
We don't
good
have to tell
tribal.
you.
It was an interesting
Ooh.
tribal. It was
And then
interesting.
Shawnee goes, but the look on Tony's face, I'm guessing it wasn't unanimous. And I'm like,
I was
this
like,
isn't even pulling a face, Shawnee. I love you, but no.
right. Tony's just, and Tony says, oh no, I just feel girl power, the love. I feel like girl power. It's like, woo. I was like, Tony, watch it. I see what you're trying to do, but watch it. I
This
see what you're trying.
close.
All right,
Do not.
don't piss me off, Tony. I'm with you right now. Do not piss me off. But so the challenge is literally um get this battling ram, untie the knots, knock down this wall, get this ram through all these different obstacles. One is a small little keyhole that they had to keep turning the battling ram to get it through with the handles and turn it and get it through. And then they had to get put stack blocks on the ramp and then carry it across holding it with ropes, and they couldn't fall. If it fell before, they had to go all the way back and start again, bring these blocks across the bridge. Then you had to take the ram, set it up to use it as a ladder, and then use the ladder to place these blocks on the wall. had to place all of them across the wall. Then somebody had to throw sandbags to knock them off the wall. And the first team to knock all the blocks off the wall is the winner. And once again, and Shawnee sits out because they had an extra player. So Shawnee is happily ready to sit this one out. Um, so once again, they start this challenge, and Team World is moving. They moving and grooving. Like they had it like down to a science. They got that battling ram, untied it. They had the right strategy of starting from the bottom to knock everything off, and they were knocking off the blocks pretty quickly in a very thorough fashion. Aussies, not so much. They were kind of struggling right out the gate with the battling ram. They was just hitting everywhere, and it wasn't knocking the blocks down effectively.
Yeah, it was really interesting because Tony was kind of leading the charge on the world side, and it was literally just hit the ones on the bottom. The top ones are gonna fall.
Duh.
He's
Correct.
right, fully.
Duh.
And then the Aussies were kind of just
In the middle, all over.
wherever.
Uh,
Like, you know what it reminded me of? Does anyone remember the Price is Right game Punch a Bunch?
Yep.
Yes.
Bam, bam.
Like, that's what it felt like. Random holes. We're gonna make random holes in this wall to try to find a $25,000 check. That's what it felt like.
I feel that it absolutely felt like that, but it was crazy. And then they had to get the ram through the keyhole. Team World, they were flowing like a machine. Like Team World had this thing pretty much easing through it the entire time. Um, Aussies, once they got behind, they started to panic a little bit. And it was like, oh, now we're moving too fast. Blocks are falling, crossing the bridge. Everything was they just started to panic once they were behind. But, and Tony was doing really well at, like you said, getting everybody in the right places. They got all the blocks up. Tony was struggling a little bit at the beginning, trying to knock the blocks off with the sandbags. But once he took a break and was able to breathe for a second and let Tommy knock a few off, Tony was able to come right back and get back into the rhythm. But by the time Tony had gotten to his rhythm, Australian team had finally gotten all their blocks up and gotten across to the thing. And David and Lou was firing. Bam, bam, just knocking blocks off left and right, where it got to a point where they had tied up with Team World, who had a very big lead. And then Australia had four, and then the world had four. Then all of a sudden, Tony hit a stride, knocking them down, knocking them down, knocking them down, and then it came down to 2-on-1, and finally, Tony hits the last one, and Team World wins immunity. Period.
Eight
I
one
was
down.
8-1 down. Period.
Also, they did the jump hug circle celebration after they won, which was a lovely, lovely thing to see. Also, it was weird to me. Am I the only person that can't really get a read on Tommy yet?
It's so
No.
strange.
Like,
It
I
really
know.
is.
Because they're not purpling him, because they're showing him a
Mhm.
decent amount, but like, I also don't have any insight to this man whatsoever.
He's seemingly really good at challenges and is a really big help, but I don't know how different Finnish Survivor is to Australian Survivor in this case, but like it seems like everyone just likes him and don't want to get rid of him in any regard, which good strategy.
I mean, look, I feel like he is representing Finland and that region of the country to a T, because he is very much neutral, very much in the middle, very much can go either way with that, however the wind takes him. And right now, that's a good strategy. That is like, because I feel like if the girls got together and they want to take out a guy, it would be Tony first and not him. And he still makes it to the next round, probably merge. So I just feel like he is doing what he need to do to lay low and be a help. Like I'm gonna help around camp. I'm gonna make sure stuff get done. I'm gonna do great, good in challenges enough where people don't want to get rid of me. But I am not going to say much so people want to get rid of me. Like I'm not gonna be leading the charge on nothing. I'm just gonna let it happen until I need to do something about it. But I'm gonna be honest. I feel like he might be the one that finds if it's not an idol in that box, he's going to be the one to find the idol on that island. I just feel it like he just gonna be happen to stance to walk around and just happen to find one. Like, oh, and he'll keep it to himself. And then when they do come for him, he'll be like, oh, but no, not today.
Mhm.
Really quiet. Like I can see it. I can see Tommy being that player, and I'm not mad at it. Honestly, not really mad at it. But
I'll be
yeah,
honest with you.
hmm
I don't think it's an idol in there because realistically, there's probably an idol on both sides. My guess is there's some sort of steal a vote or like extra powerful thing in there that'll allow for some kind of crazy mayhem. We know Survivor Australia does some weird shit. They brought back the uh God, I know what it is. Stealing someone's advantage by saying they have it. Knowledge
knowledge
is
without
power.
power.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
knowledge is
Uh,
power.
but uh, I'm very excited to see what they do. It wouldn't surprise me if it's like a knowledge without power or something similar. We'll see, because it seems to come up next episode at the very least.
Maybe it's something because I feel like it has to do something with the entire tribe since they won it at a challenge where the entire tribe knows about
Yeah.
it. So I don't think it would be something for one particular person in that tribe. Maybe it's something
Hmm.
like we don't have to participate in this challenge. We won. Thanks. Idols ours. And y'all got to go back to
Hmm.
tribal. Something like that. You know what I mean? Like they can have it and be like, we bypass this challenge. We just win and we go. Y'all go into tribal next and lose somebody else. Because I feel like it has to be something with the team, with the whole tribe involved, being able to benefit from it since they gave it to the entire tribe. But we shall see.
We'll see.
We shall see. Um, so we go back to the Aussie camp because Team World is chilling tonight. They don't have to do nothing, so we don't need to go to them. But the Australian camp is scrambling.
Chaos.
It's chaos in the best way possible because Kirby is back on her job. Now she's like, okay, now we know we are going to tribal. Now we got to figure this thing out. And she had, like I said, she talked to David, she had talked to Sarah, she had talked to George, she had talked to Shawnee. She talked to pretty much everybody except Luke and Janine about anything that they wanted to do or anything that they could do. But they were just like Sarah decides all of a sudden she's like, you know what? I'm about to play this game differently than I did the last time. Last time it was a little flippity flop. I was back and forth and flippy floppy. I don't want to do that this time. I want to play loyal and I need to hitch my wagon to somebody who I want to. And this happened, and I skipped this. This happened in the middle of the night before the challenge. Sarah wakes up to see Kirby tending to the fire so it didn't go out in the middle of the night. And she goes and she sits there and she's like, I'm with you. I want to ride with you because people are scared in this game to say who they really want to ride with. So I want to ride with you. I want to be you're my priority, blah blah blah. So all that happens. And so when they get back to camp after the challenge, Sarah's like, tell me what you want to do. She's like, if we sticking with David, because she was like, I'm on board with voting out David because Sarah knows, everybody should know that you can't keep David in this game and let him get to merge because individual immunity happens, he could probably win all of them, if not most of them.
Mhm.
So
Mm-hmm.
you have to get somebody like a David out. And Sarah knows, even though she's friends with David and played with David and did all this stuff in this four, she had to know that I can't let him get super far, because if he does, that's going to be detrimental for my game. And so she hitched her wagon to Kirby, and I was like, "Mm, yeah, it's queen. Period, period, and period." And Kirby was like, okay, well then if we're gonna do David, let's do David. Let's get other people. Let's get Shawnee. See if we could possibly get George. And George still is on this Janine train because he wants to play it safe. And because he's in the power bottoms with David and Luke. So he's trying to keep both sides happy.
Mhm.
I still cannot believe they're called the fucking Power Bottoms.
I don't like it.
Uh, and the part was that it wasn't even suggested by George, who could at least make a joke out of it. No, it was George
Yeah.
had to react to that.
And we talked about that yesterday too, but
I don't like it, and I don't like these men. But you know
When do you?
what?
When do you?
Tommy seems like a lovely person.
Fair, yeah, no. Tommy is basically the exception. Tommy and Rob was nice to look at the very least. So.
Not-
Kind of attractive. Everyone
Like
keeps
it.
saying these things, and I'm like,
I did.
It's okay, Jack. It's okay. We know.
I have a type.
I did. Then apparently your type is my type, Jack, because I did too. But anyway, go ahead. Go ahead, Brooke. You were saying.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Yeah. As these conversations kept going on, I was just. Have you ever watched like tennis on TV?
Mhm.
Right. And not one of those games, not like the normal shot where they shoot it from behind one of the sides. You're just watching the ball going back and forth. Like imagine you're in the audience, is just, and then suddenly 3 more people jump on the tennis pitch, and then it's just balls are going everywhere because everyone, and I mean everyone, at some point during this vote, except for Luke, had their name mentioned as a possible option to go home. And sitting there watching it unfold, I'm just like, that thumbs up emoji. Yeah, me too. I'm just like, and then at the end of the day, some Haley tells me to get my face better, and I move on. Like, I can't with this season. But the thing is, none of the reasons were bullshit. It wasn't
every single reason was valid.
Every single name that got thrown out, when it got thrown out, made sense. All of them. It was George is the person on the outs. Nobody wants to work with George. Let's vote for George. Okay, Kirby. David's a big threat. David is a name. He has people. He's won the game before. We got to get him out. Awesome. Then it's okay, but do we have the time to get? Do we have the sway to get David out, or would it be easier to weaken David by getting rid of Janine, who's on his side, and then get rid of David later?
Valid.
Okay. Then it's okay. Now the target's shifted back to George. Okay, maybe I just need to find a way to get it to be Janine because we can all agree on it being Janine. And nobody's going to be offended if it's Janine. Then it's, oh, well, Kirby's not telling me any information. So why would I want to keep Kirby? And then it's, oh, well, if George is willing to vote for us and that's definitely going to give us a majority, maybe we should get rid of Shawnee. Then it's, I have no idea what the hell Sarah's doing at this point. Because she's not being committal to anybody. She's wanting to play this loyalty game. Maybe I don't want to work with her. Maybe I want to get her out of here. And then I'm just literally hearing every single explanation. And all of these explanations are just like boom, 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 boom. And then Survivor 48's just slumped in the corner like, we could have been that. We were that. No, you weren't. No, you weren't.
You had the opportunity to be that. And instead, you decided to let Cedric decide multiple votes.
Chef's kiss. But I can't believe we're getting 3 of those people back on 50. Beside the point, this is legitimately one of the best 30 minutes of reality TV I have watched all year. All in a couple years. Um, and I don't want to like rush anything either, but this tribal council too was just so good. Like this whole section, every
Oh
single
yeah.
piece of the strategy was just making sense and it was clicking. And it really showed the caliber of players they picked for this Australian side.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
because again, Kirby was somebody that a lot of people were like, can she keep up with these bigger names? I think she outplayed all of them here,
Oh, absolutely.
except maybe Shawnee. I think Shawnee played this situation perfect. AKA, my name hasn't really been thrown out too much. I'm gonna hang back and just vote out the person I don't want to work with.
Basically.
Queen stuff right there. Good work.
Although we'll talk about it, but there is like one thing where it's like, well, maybe that's why we don't do that, and it comes back to passivity later. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a lot of great like strategy talking around and people finding out that, oh, maybe this person is saying my name, or no, this person is not saying, but this person is saying my name. Who's saying my name? How did my name get out there? Who? It was a lot. It was a lot of conversations that happened, but like you said, Brooke, every name that was brought up for a valid reason. And you were like, I could see why you would bring that up. I could see why you would vote that person out. Like all of that makes sense. But it had to come down to who did you feel like you could possibly beat later? Like, I don't know if you could beat certain people. And all of these options had to be weighed out. And that it was. This was the most strategy scene I've seen on a Survivor like after challenge scramble in a minute, and good.
mhm.
And everything was like valid. Everything made sense to me. Nothing I was like, oh, now why that name come out of nowhere? No, every name that was brought up and why it was brought up was like, okay, I could see that happening. So the tide was shifting so much on that beach before the syrup, yeah, about to
The
say,
tribal.
right, I was about to say eviction. The tribal, a lot of that was shifting so much. We knew once we got to, we're heading to tribal, it pretty much settled on two people. That's who it settled on two people once we were heading to tribal, and it was George or David. It settled on,
I
but
thought
then,
coming into tribal, I thought it was gonna be Janine. Like
well,
literally, because we had that big like 5-person conversation, right? And even if Luke didn't vote with them, which I didn't really expect him to,
yeah.
I thought the four of them, being
Well,
Kirby, Sarah, Shawnee, and George, had settled on voting for Janine. I thought that's where that was going. I thought it was gonna be Janine, and if Sarah maybe flipped back, it would be George.
I think George definitely was trying to make that happen in that final moment because they heard it was their name. But for me personally, I knew that David and Luke was not voting for Janine. Janine couldn't vote for herself. So I'm like, I don't think it's gonna be Janine. I personally was like, okay, the boys are just telling George, Luke is just telling George what he wanted to hear, but it's still gonna be on George, right? And they didn't know. I didn't know what Sarah, because she was going back and forth, like what is she gonna do? Like literally, George and Dave and Sarah told David that the name was on him, and before David realized it was him, they told him like, "Hey, if you got an idol, you might want to use it." And he's like, "I don't have an idol. That's no." And George was like, "Well, you got to figure something out because it's on you, but I don't want to vote for you." And so I'm like, it fell on what George was going to do, if he was going to stick with the power bottoms or if he was going to go to the other, to flip to the other side. And so going into this, I'm like, is it George or is it David? That was who I thought. But then we get in tribal, and
Oh
this
God.
What a
y'all
symphony of a tribal council. Oh,
this
Oh.
this is.
was
Have you ever been fed this much by a singular 2 episodes of Survivor? Not in recent history. I haven't.
I don't think so in a long time.
It's been a
no.
minute.
I will just say we thought the tribal yesterday was a live tribal. It was good. It was live, but it was not as live as this tribal. This tribal gave us everything. It gave us first. We started off like very kumbaya with Kirby talking about I'm amongst kings and uh gods and queens, and I'm just a princess. And I'm just, I love watching these people play and yada yada yada. And then David is like, "Don't do that. Don't do that. Like, don't sell yourself short because you've been playing this game probably better than anybody on in here right now." Which was very true. She really did. She really did. She was the queen. She wasn't just a princess in this episode. She was the queen of that tribe. But she was like, he was like, "Don't sell yourself short. You have been playing. You playing probably better than anybody amongst all these, these names that we all got. You've been playing the best, and it's been everything has come back to what you wanted in this vote, which again, very true. It came down to what Kirby wanted to happen was going to happen in this vote because Sarah wants to show Kirby I'm loyal. I don't want to play this flip floppy game. This is my test. If I flip on her right now, she will never trust me. And I can't do that because I want to ride this thing out. So Sarah was like, I have to be locked into whatever she says. And that's what's going to go for me. But then in this travel some more, the more they talked, the more things came out. And the more confused and names started shifting, even
See,
as they were sitting there.
that's where my brain was at, right? Like again, coming in, I legitimately think the four of them were voting for Janine. I think that was the plan. I think that's where things were going because after David says that it's basically been Kirby's, oyster here today, there's a bit more of a conversation happening with David and Luke are both responding to questions. Kirby leans over and goes, "We're voting for David. Let's vote for David. We're just going to vote for David." Right.
Yeah.
And that's when things started clicking for me of like, oh shit. Okay. We're changing a plan last minute. Awesome. So then we get Kirby telling Sarah and Shawnee to vote for David. George hears this, but doesn't really respond to it. And then we get the possibility of the other three being Janine, David, and Luke. They're trying to figure out everything. George is sitting in the middle, just trying to get involved in some conversation. David pulls George aside. They literally stand up, walk over by JLP's little podium, and they have this conversation. George says, "They're going to vote for you. I don't want to do that. I will vote with you. If you want to vote for Shawnee, we'll have the numbers to do it." And they agree. So at first I'm like, what the hell? Shawnee's going home after all of them this mess? It's going to be Shawnee. Then George does nothing, is literally sitting there. And then Luke pivots the vote back to George. So we're having all of this mess. Luke then whispers to George that they're actually going to vote for Janine, while Janine is sitting right beside them. Like, I think who played this poorly was George, actually. But I don't even think he really did anything wrong. So everybody is just, I have never, in my, maybe since, like, that one tribal council and Edge where everybody was up, like, whispering to each other and Julie jumped ship mid-vote and like all of this mess. This might be the messiest tribal council since then, and I loved every single second of it.
Genuinely, the thing is, I genuinely am not sure where George's head was exactly at. Obviously, we know his vote that goes down very much illustrates, I think, the world that you're talking about, Brooke, where at the beginning they all agreed to a vote Janine, and then during the tribal thing switch around to where essentially George just is like, this is too much. I'm defaulting to the original plan here and just hard stopping. But this is the other thing I was talking about with Shawnee potentially playing a little too passive, and
Mm.
then getting really caught in like, oh, well, unfortunately, now we have a really easy option to just go after her here and bring David in because we're not sure of our plans anymore. But oh my god. Genuinely, I was like trying to parse what was happening here, and it was beautiful.
It was so good to see how they just. It was. I love this travel. It was just like so many moving parts, so many different things, and so many people just like, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. No, let's do this. No, don't do that. We're gonna do this. It was chef's kiss of a tribal, only for the results to continue to serve me the entire time because we get the votes come. Nobody uses an idol because Luke is the only one that has one, and nobody knows. Um, JLP comes and it's like first vote Janine. That's from George. Second vote George. Third vote George. Another vote George. Now George is starting to panic, like, oh shoot, did I just get played?
He
Next
had
vote,
this like smug, defiant look on his face, like,
right?
you know what? I'm about to be voted out unanimously, but it's okay. And then
David, David, David. So now we have a tie between George and David. And so now George and David cannot vote in the revote.
I screamed. The scream I scrumped this afternoon, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, in a parking lot while I was eating Chipotle. I cannot possibly tell you how gagged I was. Because again, I figured David was going to get those 3 votes.
Mhm.
But I really, really thought that George was going to do something that would screw himself over and get him sent home here. I really felt it coming into this actual vote. But instead, we get a tie. Nobody switches their vote. And by a vote of 3-2,
David.
goodbye, David Gannett.
What? I will note that somehow the two obvious physical beasts of the season go out back to back at the first tribals they attend.
Bye.
And
Holy shit.
but if we
Tony's next.
remember on the first episode when David talks to Rob going up those stairs to that slide, he said, "Listen, we need to look out for each other because if you go, I go." And sure
And
enough, he went, and then David went after him. It was crazy. But I will say, I have to say this because I promised David I would. Tony surviving this vote breaks his second vote curse that he had in, I think it was Game Changer.
Game Changers, then followed by Traitors.
But yes, so Tony was not the second person voted out of a game that he played after winning 2 times on Survivor. So good on him.
Oh my God, Tony is just Santi.
Yep, he's Santi, but he broke the Santi curse. Now it's time for Santi to break that.
Jack needs a minute.
Yeah, he
You
literally.
cannot do this to me today. There is something that you just can't do this to me today. I'll explain in like an hour, but you can't. Okay? Like, God, I don't need this.
uh, but yeah,
Burn.
I will. Sometime in my life, I probably will. Beside the point.
David
I
is
just
gone. Rob is gone. It's crazy.
I just want to say, I just want to say, I was right.
You were.
um, Again, no shade to David. I legitimately do not know. I mean, again, I don't think there wasn't a situation of what he could have done to made it through this. I don't think he has any chance to win this game whatsoever. You're
Yeah,
the
no.
only winner on a tribe of 7 people versus you're gonna be the big target no matter what you do on that tribe. Him and George. Um, Now I don't know what's going to happen on this tribe because I would have said that after David went, I would have been worried for Luke. But now that he has an idol, now I'm kind of worried about like everyone other than Janine probably going into next time they go to tribe. I have no idea what's going to happen on Aussie now. Um, but you know who really comes out of this episode the winner? Parvati Shallow. Because now all of the David problems of them playing together on Dondi gone. No one has to worry about it. It is a poof. It
Absolutely.
is irrelevant. It has no bearing on her for the rest of time. And the fan club stays winning.
Word.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's
I
go.
there's one small thing to note. That of course this isn't the last time we're gonna see David.
Mm-mm.
We they wasted no time with like, hey, I know that David's been voted out. Anyway, here's a picture of him hosting the next season. And the comment section for that photo is basically like, are you kidding me? Did you decide to take this photo like as a joke? We hate this decision. Go away. And it's genuinely hilarious.
I don't even think people hate the fact that David is going to be hosting Australian Survivor. I hate the fact that they tried to dress him up like he was Jeff Probst or JLP, and he just isn't. And they're trying to make him have that like rugged host thing. We've seen David play Australian Survivor 3 times now. We just saw him on Dondi last beginning of this year. We know who this guy is. It's not some rando walking off the street from Rock and Roll Jeopardy. Okay?
Yeah.
Like we don't need you to re-image David, even if we don't like the circumstances as to how he's got this job, because we love JLP. We always
Mm-hmm.
have. I feel bad for JLP, but also I kind of feel bad for David. This isn't his fault. It's not like he went down
Mm-hmm.
there and was like, "Hey, I want to host the show now." God, no, like that's not what happened.
All right.
But like
I
he just took
mean,
an opportunity. I feel bad for him, but I also think Channel 10 is the real problem here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Unless they're trying, like I say, if they're doing this and giving JLP that other job that they plan on giving, then okay, it all still works out because I think Traders is going to be a good show for him to host. Um if that's what they're trying to do. But I hope they're not just letting JLP go just for the sake of letting JLP go and we don't see JLP anymore. Because it's like, for what reason did you have to do that? Why are we doing that now? Like, it makes no sense. But yes, I don't think anybody's mad at David for
Oh
taking the
yeah.
job, for taking the opportunity. Because heck yeah, if somebody offers me a job to be a host of a television show that's already popular, I'm going to take it. But yeah,
Very
circumstances.
much like timing, and
Yeah,
also David already has an amazing sense of style. Why are you completely harshing his vibe?
right. I don't think I wish they would have just let David come in and just be David. Like, we know who,
Exactly.
like you said, Brooke, we know who he is. We've seen him before. We know what style he has. Let him just come in and do that whole, if he want to come in and be in his cool leather jacket vibes in the middle of the Samoan, what, then do that. Let him do that. But whatever. It is what it is. Let's talk about our draft really quickly because yeah, me and
Oh,
Lewis has taken a hit with the loss of David. So now this side here over here, the L side, not doing so
Taking
hot.
one. Y'all are
We all
not
taking one.
took
doing
one.
great.
Not doing so hot. But you know what? I'm still confident in who I have, so I'm okay. But the non-L side, y'all doing good. So good on you guys. Good on all of you, the three of you. Y'all eating.
I invested so well. I am very proud of this draft, especially considering both Tommy and Kirby were late drafts. Y'all screwed up hard.
Kirby was not that late. Kirby was
Kirby,
round two. Okay, it
literally right
wasn't.
after, at the same time as you voted for got three. Like, let's
Yeah,
not.
like literally,
Fair.
David drafted his two Aussies, and then you got Kirby. Like I don't know what you mean by late, but look, all I'm gonna say is this. Okay, I have never felt happier having Parvati Shallow as a part of anything in my life than being in my draft team. So, Logan and I are loving life right now because she has been like the main character to this point, which on Aussie usually means you're going to get third, but that's okay because at least third place means I'm making it to FTC.
If this season is a three-person final tribal, do we know that?
You know, that's real. Can
We
you
don't
imagine
know.
them doing a final two here?
The only other thing I will say, David was voted out on day 5. We have in game a week and a half left to get through 9 or 10 boots. I am very afraid for whatever twist they're going to throw at these people because this game, like, if it wasn't already, is going to be kicked into overdrive.
Well, that then makes me ask my question of the day of regardless of which tribe loses the next tribal council, who do you think is in trouble heading into episode 3?
Ooh.
Regardless.
Mm-hmm.
On the world tribe, 100%, they're going to look at one of the Americans to go. They're not going to give that group a majority, even if it's for only one round. My bet is that Tony might take the hit because Sari has protection and Parv can be like, well, I know you guys tried to vote me out last time. I'm willing to do anything. I feel like Tony's going to take the hit here.
And Aussie, what are you thinking on that?
Aussie, I feel like if they can't come to a conclusion, George might just be the easy decision and they're probably just going to take him out. But otherwise, maybe they'll try and take a shot at Luke, and thereby Luke will make a giant move and like take out Shawnee or something similar.
Don't put that in the universe, Jack.
I don't want to, but it's unfortunately the storytelling I can see.
Valid. Personally, I agree with you on the world side. I think it's either going to be Tony or Tommy, and I think Suri and Parvati don't really care if Tony's around at this point. They've got themselves insulated enough that they can be like, yeah, we can lose Tony. It's fine. And then it goes to the Aussie side. And again, I have no idea what's going to happen over there. I think George is probably in the worst position on the Aussie side, but that also would assume that 3-person alliance goes after the one person versus the 2 people, because Luke and Janine are currently a package deal at the moment from the vote and from everything else. I could see a world where maybe they go after Luke and Janine. Luke places idol, and either Janine goes home in a split of a 2-2-2 vote, or we see Luke play the idol because they don't split because they don't have George, and we could see something crazy like a Kirby boot. So I really don't know. If I had to guess, I would say probably George. But, I mean, again, we said that for half of Heroes versus Villains, and look at where we ended up. So, I mean, you never know.
For the world, I think it's Tony. I feel that it might be Tony's time. For Aussie, because it's very interesting, I kind of think what happened today, and I think something we haven't thought about is the conversation that Kirby, George, and David had, and George pretty much threw Kirby's name under the bus and was just like, yeah. And she was like, why did you do that? You didn't have to do that. You could have said it was anybody else not here. You could have said it was somebody else. Why did you do that? And George's like,
I don't know.
I I don't think Kirby is going to forget that. And I don't think Kirby is going to let that go. And Kirby realized in that moment, okay, George is good for now, but the fact that he can care less about my game and that I am I
Disposable.
disposable. That is the word. I am disposable to him. Therefore, I'm gonna have to make sure George goes. And she knows without a shadow of a doubt that Shawnee would be 100% down with it. And Sarah probably be 100% down with it because she was down with it before. And I don't think Janine nor Luke would care. So I think George could be in trouble if he doesn't, if they go back to tribal, because I don't think Kirby is going to want to work with George after what he just did. And George is go ready to cause chaos at any point in time anyway. So it's like, yeah, you got to cut the chaotic kid out of here because I can't work with chaos and or not that kind of chaos. Like Kirby wants to be a rebel and she wants to cause trouble. She can't cause trouble if somebody is messing up the plans, and George is definitely doing that. So I think George, but that is our thoughts. That is what we think. Tell us what you think. Let us know in the comments what you think is it could happen the next go around. Who got what? Who's in danger? Who's in trouble? Are we 2 episodes away from merge? Are we coming after we lose 2 more people? Are we merging then or before? What y'all think? Let us know, and we'll love to read the comments and tell you what we think. Um, Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. We truly appreciate all of you who have, and those who haven't, we welcome you to hit the subscribe button. Help us get to our mission of 1,000 new subscribers by the end of the year. Follow us on all of our channels. All those links will be in the description. I can talk. The description below in our link tree, as well as our audio podcast links, our Patreon, all of our socials at the Cover Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky, and where you can get your merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. You can follow the three of us on our socials if you like. They're there, they're down there. You see them. Get your, do what you want to do. It's not, we don't care if you follow us or not, but we do care if you follow this channel. So do that. And we'll be back tomorrow because we got another episode tomorrow to get through, and I'm excited and set. So we will be back tomorrow and we're gonna go make more content. You click the next video because we got so many videos. So click the next video and continue to support us. And we're gonna go. So cheers, you guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey everybody.
Bye.